Hello and welcome to day 15 of Lifebook's 30-Day Challenge. So good to have you here with me today as we begin our exploration of the parenting category. I want to begin by saying that whether you're a parent or not, this is going to be a rich and rewarding category for you to explore. So please don't skip it if you don't have kids. You were a kid once, right? And you've got parents, and children are an important part of all of our lives. I guarantee there's going to be something valuable in this category for you. So let's get started. Raising a child can be one of the richest, deepest experiences imaginable. It's an intellectual, emotional, and spiritual journey that simply can't be duplicated in any other way. Being a parent, or even just being around children, can be one of the best things about life. If you're a parent, you probably know how much pure joy and happiness and laughter children can bring. On the other hand, parenting has been called one of the hardest and most thankless jobs in the world. Raising children can involve incredibly difficult and sometimes painful circumstances. Divorce happens. Custody battles happen. You may have a child with health problems or with special needs. You might be at the end of your rope, simply just trying to hang on while raising a teenager. There are very few activities that you can engage in that are even remotely as difficult or as demanding as raising a child. It's a crazy, complicated, and absolutely wonderful category. And it's also very, very important. As a matter of fact, parenting is so important that the entire human race depends on at least some of us doing it well. I'd like to share a clip from the Lifebook program now that really drills down into some of the beliefs that Missy and I have about parenting. Take a look.
Being a parent is an awesome responsibility. The life of another human being is in your hands. When the process begins, they're totally dependent on you. They can't walk, they can't talk, they can't hold their heads up. If you left them alone for 48 hours, they wouldn't survive. As they get older, they look to you for everything important: their food, their shelter, their clothing. As they develop, they look to you for values, for morals, for a sense of life. Your level of health is what health means. They look at your marriage as an example of what marriage means. Your career is what career means. As a parent, you're under a microscope. Everything you say, everything you do, you are what human being means to them. So what is being a parent all about? What does it entail? What are your beliefs in this area? Fundamentally, Missy and I believe that our job as parents is to raise independent, healthy, happy, courageous children. We believe that this entails three things. In order to raise kids like that, we've got to set a good example. We've got to create a safe, sane, loving environment. And we've got to teach our children what they need to know to navigate through life. Let's take a closer look at these three beliefs. First, we believe that it's up to us to set a good example. Now, everyone knows that we've got to set a good example. People are immune to this phrase. Please try to understand this. You are your child's world. You're all they see. You are the example of what being a human being is all about. You're the provider, you're the caregiver, you are everything. They want to be you. If you smoke, you're giving them permission to smoke. If you're overweight, doesn't matter what you say about sugar or junk food being unhealthy, you're giving them permission to be unhealthy every day. If you're a courageous person, a person who steps up to life, someone who's not afraid to set goals and go after them, you give your child permission to be courageous. If you have a fantastic relationship with your spouse, you're showing them every day what a proper relationship looks like. Put yourself in their little shoes for a second. They look up to you. You are their world. The most important responsibility we have as parents is to live great lives and be great people. The best education a kid can ever have is to see their parents living a happy, successful, stable, fulfilling life. It's not what we say, it's who we are as people that will affect our children's lives. So all the lifebook categories are important here. The most important thing you can do is to really get into your lifebook and get all those categories in line. And our second belief, it's up to us to create a safe, sane, loving environment in which our children can really thrive. The most critical factor in a child's development is safety. Physical, psychological, emotional, intellectual safety. Their physical safety is first and foremost, keeping them from getting hurt, keeping them out of danger, making sure they have proper food, clothing, and shelter. Then comes psychological safety. Children need the experience of living in a rational universe, a world in which facts are treated as facts, truth is respected, question asking is valued and not punished, an environment in which a child's desire to understand is honored and nurtured. And you know what? That's a world that too many parents fail to provide. The danger to a child confronted with adult irrationality is that they'll surrender the will to understand, the will to make sense out of the experience. The child may give up on the belief that thinking is worthwhile. And if they do that, it's game over. They're not going to turn into healthy, happy, independent people. You protect them psychologically by behaving rationally. And third, Missy and I truly believe that it's up to us to teach our children what they need to know. If you have parenting values that even remotely resemble ours, you need to know this. The government cannot teach our kids what they need to be successful humans. It's up to us. It's up to us to define what they need to know and to teach it to them, because it's just not going to happen in school. School's important. School does a pretty good job at teaching some good information, some useful information, but school doesn't even come close to teaching the most important things in life. As a matter of fact, we believe that school teaches how not to be successful. Our society in general, and school in particular, tends to squash inner-directed kids immediately at the first sign of independence. Kids are taught to follow without questioning and to go along with the rules. They learn at a very early age not to challenge the teacher or suggest unusual ideas. And this is a recipe for failure in life, and everyone knows it. The leaders in every field of society are the self-directed people who follow their own inner voices, not the people who play it safe and play the game correctly and never question and go along with what they're told to do. And never has this been more true than in the 21st century. There's a shrinking market for blind obedience in today's world. The last thing we need is another yes man. We need people who can think for themselves. So let me ask you a question. If independent thinking is so important to being successful in life, why don't they teach us a little bit more about that in school? The answer is because they can't. Our schools have to process millions of kids. They can't be attending to each kid's special need and talents. It's impossible. The system just can't do it. The government cannot give your kid a proper education. It's a parent's job. It's always been a parent's job, and it always will be. Here are some things we want to instill deeply in our children that they don't teach in school. We want to teach our kids how to think, not what to think. Kids are taught the lowest level of thinking in school, how to regurgitate information. Kids are not taught the basic principles of logic. They're not trained to recognize logical fallacies. They're taught next to nothing about reason, rationality, and the importance of critical thinking. Can you imagine school teaching kids how to think critically, how to question everything? It just wouldn't work. The quality of their lives will be based to a huge extent on their ability to think in a high-quality way. And this is just not overtly taught in school. They got to kind of pick it up by osmosis. They've got to learn it on their own. Well, we want to teach our kids how to think. We want to teach our kids how to set their own goals and create plans to achieve those goals. This is one of the most important skills we can ever teach them. It's the master skill of success. What teacher ever said to you, what is it that you really want out of life? What things are most important to you? What kind of skills will you need to develop? What will you need to learn? What will you need to do to get those things? They're just not concerned with that because they can't be. They need to make sure that you can find Argentina on a map and that you can add 4-digit numbers and that you can recite the first 3 lines of the Declaration of Independence. It's not their job to care about what you want. It's a parent's job. We want to teach our kids to never stop thinking about what they want out of life and why they want it and what they need to do and who they need to become to get it. We want to teach our kids about money, what it is, where it comes from, how wealth is created, and what it can do for you and the people around you. And school doesn't even try to address this issue. We go to school for 15 years or more, and we learn about geography, algebra, geometry, biology, chemistry, history, sociology, literature, music, computers, art, phys ed. We learn home ec, for God's sake. We learn how to make muffins. And then we graduate, and we spend the majority of our waking hours just about every day for the rest of our lives trying to make money, a subject we've learned absolutely nothing about in school. I'm going to say that again because it's so bizarre and it's so unbelievable. We go to school for almost 2 decades and we learn about everything but money, and then we graduate and we spend the rest of our lives trying to make money. We're going to look at this craziness when we dive into career and finances. If we don't teach our kids about the creation of wealth, no one will. You can be sure of that. We want to implant the fundamentals firmly in their brains so that they'll have the opportunity to be financially successful and have abundance in their lives. We want to teach our children about the world through travel. It's one of the most important ways that Missy and I educate our kids. We believe that traveling is one of the best experiences a kid can have. It just yanks them right out of their little world, right off of their Nintendo game, and it expands their concept of life on Earth. The rest of the world is not America. If you want to get really thankful for what you have, spend some time in a few third world countries. We want our kids to see that. We want our kids to know that. And most importantly, we want to teach our kids how to live a great life. What does a good relationship look like? What's physical health all about? How do they find the career that's perfect for them? How do they create financial abundance in their life? What's required for their spiritual, their emotional, and their intellectual fulfillment? All the lifebook categories. And again, it's our example that they're going to learn from, more than anything we can say. They look at our lives, the lives we live, as an example of what's proper to a man and a woman. We want them to live great lives.
So those are our 3 fundamental beliefs. As parents, we've got to set a good example for our children, create a safe, sane, loving environment for our children, and we've got to teach them what they need to know to have great lives. And we've defined what that is to us. Now, there are as many parenting styles as there are parents. You know, it's kind of a cliche. You raise your kid the way you want, don't tell me how to raise mine. And I'm not doing that. I'd never do that. I don't believe in it. Missy and I have defined deeply what being a parent means to us. And if you're interested in living the Lifebook lifestyle, you need to do the same thing. This is an amazing, challenging, very exciting process that yields great results. Tomorrow, we're going to go deeper into this wild, wonderful category. And until then, have a fantastic day, and I'll see you tomorrow as we continue our exploration of parenting together.